This is Jerry, KG5JBC, and I'd like to invite you to join our DMR net on the Brandmeister Network, Talk Group 3148, on Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. This net is sponsored by the Ham Radio 2.0 video podcast on livefromthehamshack.tv.
Good afternoon. Thank you for that message, Jerry. Welcome to Ham Radio 2.0, live from the Ham Shack. My name is Jason. I'm KC5HWB. This episode is going to be about the SharkRF Openspot, this little guy right here. So, by the time this episode airs, you will have already seen my Blue Spot DV episode, which I think is going to be episode 60. This one right here may be 61 or 62. I'm not sure the episode numbering yet. But these are both hotspots to connect into the DMR or DSTAR or Fusion network if you don't have a close-by repeater. So basically what it does is it hooks up to your internet via your cell phone or your Ethernet connection at home or your Wi-Fi connection at home, and it uses your internet connection as the internet to the DSTAR network or the DMR network, and your hotspot, the little device here, acts as your repeater. So you set your device and you set your radio code plug to match one another. Basically, you set the frequency on the device. The device has a small little 100 milliwatt radio in it, something like 100 milliwatts, something like that. And you set the device frequency, and then you program your code plug and your radio for the same frequency. And usually it's time slot 2, talk group number, whatever talk group you want to be on in color code 1, and then you key up and you can connect via the device to the internet and be on the DSTAR or the DMR network. For the purposes of these videos, we're going to be doing DMR. I might do some DSTAR stuff later on, and I'm going to do some Fusion stuff later on. But for the purposes of this demonstration today, for the SharkRF Openspot, we're going to be connecting to the Brandmeister DMR network. So this is the SharkRF Openspot. These were launched about a month or a month and a half before this video released. They had some for demonstration at Dayton in 2016, and they didn't have them for sale then. They just came out for sale like in August, I think, of 2016, so it was a few months later. But this is the Openspot here. There's an Ethernet port right here. It comes with this little antenna. It's just a regular SMA female connector on the back of the device, but it comes with this little stubby antenna. So you could connect an SMA female, an SMA male plug to it and put an antenna outside somewhere if you wanted to. It's powered by a micro USB port right here. And it comes with a micro USB cable and the wall socket to plug the micro USB into, so you can plug the micro USB into, say, a computer or something else in your home if you have a USB port powered plug at your home, or you can just use the wall wart. Comes with all that. It comes with a small Ethernet cable, like so, and that's it. And it comes with a little business card on there that tells you where to go download the manual. It's actually just a manual that's online. It's a PDF file. You just open it up, write it up in Chrome to see how this works. So we're going to take a look at this. We're going to connect to the DMR Brandmeister network, and we're going to see what this hotspot is all about.
This will be the SharkRF Openspot setup screen. And I've already got this unit set up, but I'm going to go through the key things here. Now, what you can do, go ahead. There are a lot of good videos on the SharkRF website. It's just sharkrf.com. And if we want to go over here, and you can get videos. This is the intro video. Tells you a little bit about it. Let's see. We can go. Where did I find? There's different videos on how to connect to the different types of networks, such as Brandmeister DMR, DSTAR, Fusion, all that kind of good stuff. And it might, maybe it's in the, I didn't think it was in the forums. Any forums? YouTube channel. Facebook page, let's see. Maybe it's learn more about. Been here about a week ago, and okay, I think this is it. Okay, how to connect to Brandmeister. This video is good right here. Let's see. This is how to set up cross mode so that you can key up a DMR radio and talk into Yaesu to System Fusion or vice versa. I have not done that with it yet. I was going to try to do that for this video, but I never got I haven't got a chance to actually set that up and play with that yet. So we're just going to do Brandmeister for the purposes of this video. There's some other good videos here, but just SharkRF.com, they got a lot of good videos on how to do their own stuff. So recommend that. But this is what the login looks like. In order to open it up, you just type Openspot from your web browser, and it should load a page that looks just like this right here. Now, if it times out or if it doesn't open, sometimes some people have to type openspot.local. I didn't have to do that on this one, but you may have to type openspot.local like that, and it should bring up the same thing. Well, see, that one doesn't pull up on my network, but Openspot will pull up on my network. So it depends on how your network is set up, your router protocols, and all that kind of good stuff. So, couldn't connect. There it goes. Okay, it's just being ornery. So the default password is Openspot. You can go in here and change that when you get set up, apparently. I changed mine back to Openspot for purposes of this video. I didn't want to put in my real password there. So you're going to come to a status page, and you can see that the status right now is standby. That means nobody's talking right now. I've actually got a radio sitting right here next to me that's listening to this. Let's see. Yep, and there's nobody. So unlike the Blue DV device, like what we talked about earlier, the Openspot doesn't have a user interface that shows you who's talking. So you have to either look at hose line, or and this status standby here will change to, it'll say in use when someone's talking, but it doesn't tell you who's talking. It just says it's in use right now. So, and of course this is the talk group I'm connected to. This is my frequency that I currently have, which I set myself. You can set this to whatever you want. Your connectors is where you're going to set up your whatever network you want to connect to. So you've got DMR, DMR plus, TS repeat. Homebrew is what you would use for Brandmeister. I don't know why they call it Homebrew, but that's what they call it. You've got DCS and reflectors for DSTAR, FCS and Yaesu System Fusion reflectors for Fusion. And then you can set up your own IP connector client and server network. If you and a buddy want to set up your own SharkRF network, you can talk privately amongst yourselves, or maybe your club or something like that. So you set up the homebrew, you set the your frequencies here, transmit and receive, whichever server you want. Pick the one that's closest to you. 3102 is the server that I use for my Blue DV hotspot, so I just it does that a lot when I'm doing screen cap. So I just picked the same one. That's why I picked that one. My call sign, my DMR ID. The password is password with a 0 for the O, all lowercase, just like this. PASSW0RD. So that's the password. And then all this other stuff I just kind of leave blank. You can go into advanced mode down here in the bottom right corner. Click that checkbox and you can go in here and set a bunch of other stuff if you want to. I didn't mess with any of that. You don't have to do any of that for Brandmeister connection. You can send and receive SMS messages. I tried this one time and it didn't work, so I'm not sure if that's possible over Brandmeister or if maybe I'm doing something wrong. I've not toyed with that a lot yet. your modem settings, when you set for DMR hotspot in here, and of course these are your frequencies, these are your modulation modes. And the best way to find out which modulation, because your modulation modes will change depending on whether you're using DMR and depending on what radio you're using. For instance, if I'm using DMR with a Motorola radio, it's going to be a different modulation mode than if I'm using an MD380 radio. So what you can do to set your modulation mode is go back to connectors here, hit the drop down, go to DMR AutoCal. See, it's showing the last result. I just did this yesterday, and this was the result with my Motorola XPR 7550, and it said lowest BER in D mode, demodulation mode D. So I go over here to the modem page and I set D if I want to talk on my Motorola HT. If I'm talking on my ND390 or something, it might be something different. So I would set it accordingly. I've not done that yet, so I don't know what that would be. In here you can set your host name for the actual device, so that's what it will show up like on your network if you're looking at your router or your own network. This is your QTH locator. I just set that myself. When you're going to upgrade firmware, you're going to want to go here and go to the home page and look and see the latest firmware files. Actually, they were on that last page, weren't they? Openspot. Yeah, they're on the Openspot page. So these are the latest firmware files here. This is for, you have to look on the bottom of your device and see if it's what the hardware version is. I've got version 1.1 right now. That's what most of them are at the time of this recording. 1.2, 1.3 may come out later. But you look and see what your latest hardware version is, or what your hardware version on your actual device is, and then you just download this bin file to your local computer. Then you plug the Openspot into your computer, and you go over here and you click on this reboot to bootloader screen. And once it boots up, it comes in and it shows itself as a mountable drive in your Windows operating system. So it would come up here and it would be my F drive that would show right here. And then you just drag that bin file from wherever you downloaded it from your local machine over to the F drive, and then you unplug and reboot the device. And once you do that, it upgrades the firmware automatically. So it's pretty simple. There's a video on SharkRF on how to do that as well. So let me go ahead and key up here. You can see what it looks like. KC5 HWB testing on talk group 3148. You can see where it changed to on call and then back to standby once I unkeyed. There's Norman. So if I go over here to hose line, I can look.
KC5 HWB, Jason, you're coming through loud and clear.
And hose line will squawk at me.
H5 HWB,
there you go.
You're coming through loud and clear.
Thanks, Norman. I'm just testing out the Openspot setup here on a new radio. So appreciate the comeback there. KC5 HWB. I turned the volume down on my radio.
Yeah, you're welcome. My signal, whatever problem help.
There we go. So, but you can see this changes, but it doesn't tell you who's talking. You have to go to hose line to see who's talking. Or you can look at your radio, you know, like your drive, like using a repeater. You have to look at the radio screen to see who's talking, have the contacts loaded in there. So that's one thing that the Blue Spot has over the other hotspots I've seen. But like I said earlier, this one here is really good if you want to use in a home environment setting.
Certainly is. That's good. I'm watching myself on hose line, and I'm coming up as call ID 9998. I guess because I'm talking through a Fusion radio into the Openspot onto the DMR Brandmeister network, so I'm not sure how to change that. I'll have to research that a little bit.
Okay, very good. Yeah, pretty good. I'm impressed. Not too bad. I'm seeing 9998 here on the Blue DV app too. It's got to be setting there somewhere. I think that's the parrot talk for this. Go ahead.
Yeah. QSL, that is the Parrot Talk group. So I'm not sure where it's getting that from. Could be a setting in the Openspot software, not sure. DMR Brandmeister.
Okay, very good. Yeah, it sounds good. You did good.
Yaesu Fusion Radio.
I've been playing with this R Finder pretty much all day, and saw that new Android app update come out. I was right on it. So, yeah, it came out about, I don't know, I guess an hour ago, maybe.
Yeah.
So, it works as long as I don't change talk groups. All right, keep playing there, and when you get a chance to try the R Finder out, after you load the new app, let us know if yours works for you. Go ahead, Jason.
Okay. Yeah, I actually downloaded that earlier. I saw, I think somebody, or Norman, I think, posted in the Facebook group that the new version was out, so I went and opened up my Play Store, and sure enough, it was right there waiting for me. So I downloaded it and got it installed on my phone, but I have not updated my DV Mega yet. That's why I haven't played with it, really. I've never updated a DV Mega. I don't know how to do it, so I got to go Google that and look that up and perform that step, and then I'll be able to test the R Finder. So maybe I'll get to that here in just a little bit. I'm kind of tinkering with this and one other thing right now. But I'm just happy, you know, I watched the video on the R Finder website. I'm sorry, the video on the Openspot, the SharkRF website, and figured out how to do this. So I'm surprised how easy it was. KC5 HWB.
Okay, Jason. Yeah, that's what I do when I get stuck. I look for the videos.
Yeah.
I like yours on the BlueStack. A friend of mine, WW3, just ordered a board for you down in Florida, and I told him to watch your video because you did a good job on that.
Put some light on that radio.
So he's on a Raspberry Pi now, and I'm trying to get him off that onto the BlueStack. He's already got a dual-band DV Mega board. Yeah, once you get, I don't know if you got the wire soldered or not. Unless you have a new board, I guess the new ones may come with it. But there's a video out there for that, a real detailed video. I mean, there's pictures, step-by-step instructions on where to put that wire, and it's really easy. Once you get the wire on there, it's really easy to do the upload. You just plug it in your computer and run Xloader, and it's like I say, it's pretty easy. It's like the comfort, and you're good. Okay, well, let's play with that a little more, and I'm going to probably play with this some more and do some tweaking, and we'll talk to you later, and maybe compare notes again. KC5HWB, 80 for you. Talk to you later there, Norman. Sorry, Jason.
Yeah. No, that's okay. All right, Dave, 73. I'm actually recording this the last few minutes since I got it working. I'm running a video right now, so I may put this in one of my episodes if you don't mind. It's a good demonstration of talking on the Brandmeister DMR network through a Yaesu FT1DR radio. So yeah, I'll have to go look up that. I may not have time to solder a wire onto a board tonight. I'm getting ready to leave town in a couple days, so I'm trying to get some last-minute stuff done. But I'll go look that up and see if I can tinker with that a little bit as well. All right, 73. Probably catch you later on tonight. 84UU from KC5HWB.
Okay, Jason, yeah, that'd be great. Get the R finder on there, too. Okay,
Yep.
talk to you a little bit later. Have fun. 84UU.
And that was Yaesu FT1DR radio. I've got, I'm in my office right now, not in the ham shack. That's why it's kind of dark in here. Shining a light on here. Got my Yaesu FT1DR radio. And then I'm watching on the computer screen there, I'm watching the hose line. It's like a net watch for Brandmeister. And I've got the Openspot set up to cross mode between C4FM, what they call C4FM, which is a misnomer because C4FM is actually DMR also. It's DMR is C4FM TDMA, while Fusion, Yaesu Fusion is C4FM FDMA. But regardless of that, it's called C4FM on this Openspot. Let me show you I tried to record it from the camera behind me that was sitting there just now when I was talking through my Fusion radio onto the Brandmeister DMR network. But the camera couldn't really capture the screen very well. So I've gone back and started the screen cap program again. So I'm going to show you how I set this up to work. Now this video, there's a couple of videos on the SharkRF website that show you how to get it to work. But it looks like those guys are using 2 Openspots connected together. And there's one video that nobody's talking in, just has background music playing, that shows you how to connect this. And I tried this, but I had to add a couple of steps to it. So here's how you do it. The ones on sharkrf.com are informative, so go watch those also. But here's how I did it. So you come in here to your connectors page, and you set your connector to homegroup. And this is the same connector that you use for Brandmeister, okay? So you set your frequencies, of course. You set your Brandmeister server. And again, I use 31.2, like I said earlier. And I've got the advanced mode checked right now. So you set all this stuff in here right now. And I set, now this part wasn't in the Brandmeister video, but I set this to auto connect to ID 3148 as a group call, okay? And then I hit the advanced mode, and I came down here. This bottom one, reroute talk group 9 calls to ID, was already set to 3148, which I didn't set, so I think it may follow this top one up here. This one right here, I think it may follow that one. But the one that I did set is route C4FM calls to ID 3148, and it was set to private call by default, so change that to a group call. I did that. You want to save. You always want to save your settings in this software every time you make a change. Hit save, and then click switch to homebrew, and you want to ignore this because you don't want to change the modem. And this is the difference, because crosstalking. So you don't want to change the modem when you're crosstalking, because if you come over here to the modem page, the modem is set to C4FM. So that's how we're crosstalking right now. And then the last thing you saw, I was transmitting, when I was transmitting, I was keying up on my Yaesu radio, which I have here that's off the screen right now. And I was coming through on hose line, talk group 9998. Let's see. I figured out how to fix that. So it doesn't show. No, it's been too long now since I keyed up, but you don't see it here. But I was coming through with my call ID is 9998 instead of my DMR subscriber ID. So how you fix that is you go over here to settings, and you scroll down. And again, this is with the advanced mode checked. You scroll down here, DMR settings, default DMR ID for C4FM calls. You set your subscriber ID right there in that field. And then click save, of course, just like you always want to do. And if we come back here to the status page, it should show connected to 3148, where previous to that it was connected to NA. And it doesn't show my frequency, which is a little bit strange, but that's okay, because it's the frequency set there, and frequency is set there, so we're okay. Let's key this up. Oh no, there it is. Okay, I just had to catch up with itself. So connected to 3148, modem mode is C4 FM. So let's key up one more time. KC5 HWB testing. So you can hear that in the background because that was on the hose line. I'm coming through on hose line here. So that's what that was. KC5 HW testing. So that's how it works. And I just had that conversation with 84UU talking into my Yaesu FE1DR HT onto the Brandmeister network. SharkRF Openspot. What do you guys think? I like it. My current plan, until they come out with a new DV device that of course I'll have to buy and then do a video on. There's some guys out of Canada making one, I'm told. I gotta get with Chris from Yaesu and find out who they were. He was telling me about those. Some guy out of Canada making one. There's probably a bunch of them out there that I don't know about, honestly. But the SharkRF Hotspot. So the cool thing about, how I use let me tell you how I use mine right now. How I use mine is I leave the SharkRF set up at the house, plugged into the Ethernet, and running all the time. Okay? Works great with my Motorola HT. Works great with my TYT MD390 HT. Works great with my, what else do I have? I've got several other radios right now. I got a KYD radio in there set up. I think my Vertex radio I sold. I think I sold that one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyway, I've got about 7 or 8 different DMR radios, but I don't use all of them all the time. So my MD390 and my XPR 7550 are my two normal carry rate, and I like carrying both of them, and I'll tell you why. Because there's so many talk groups on DMR. So if I go to a Hamfest and take my portable repeater and I want to talk to people at the Hamfest, I leave my MD390 on Simplex 3 and I have my portable repeater set up and I have it going and I turn it on Texas Statewide. So I leave my Motorola on Texas Statewide. So I've got 2 radios going. And now I got a DSTAR radio, now I got a Fusion radio, and now I've got all other kinds of radios, a tri-bander. You got to have 220, right? 220. That's where it's at. You're going analog, go 220. End of story. Anyway, so what I do is I leave this running at home, and I take my Blue DV and I take it on the road because it Bluetooths. The power to the Blue DV runs from a mini USB cable, which easily plugs into my cigarette lighter adapter. In fact, I have 4 USB ports in my Havis console in the truck. I can plug in all kinds of USB devices. So I take that one mobile, and it works very well, especially since I have a dedicated Windows tablet to it. And I'll leave this running at the house. Now, when they come out with the new version of this, and it includes Wi-Fi, which they're going to do that. So I'm told. I'm told they're going to do that. This will be sweet. So you can take it with you mobile more easier than you can now. More easily than you can now. Take it with you mobile. But right now, man, it works great in the house. I've got a Blue DV I can take mobile. I don't need this thing mobile. So this thing stays at the house. In fact, I'm probably, when I go to DXpedition to Costa Rica this next coming week, you guys on HF, go look for us on 10, 15, 20, 40, and 80 meters. And probably some in the in-between ones also. But it's going to be a fun DXpedition. Look for, on Saturday, hold on. Saturday, October, that'd have to be the 29th, right? Yes, Saturday, October 29th, 1 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be running a live video feed on YouTube from Costa Rica. That's going to be cool. That was so fun last year. So fun. It was awesome. So I'm really looking forward to that one again. Gonna take a DMR hotspot with me, but I'm gonna take the because there's Wi-Fi down there at the place we stay in Costa Rica, and I could probably find a router if I wanted to and jack with Ethernet, but I don't want to do all that. That's not why I'm there. So I'm gonna take my Blue DV with me. But this guy will be set up at the house. I'm probably gonna change the config on it and put my wife's call sign and my wife's DMR ID into this thing. Take my Blue DV with me to Costa Rica, and give her a radio and tell her to turn it to TAC 312. Or maybe some other talk group that I'm not going to tell you guys about because it's my wife. But I'm going to say, hey, honey, key up and let's talk. That's going to be fun. I'm going to have fun doing that. She does have her ham. She's had her ham license for about 3 years now. So she went and got it because I asked her to. And she's a great wife, so she did it. I asked her if she watched my videos, and she said, oh, yeah, I watch them. So we'll see if she comes back and comments on the statement I just made about her. Okay, so SharkRF Openspot, as you saw, very easy to configure from your web browser on a local computer somewhere plugged into your network. My network right now is pretty simple at the house. I have a fiber line coming into the house with a single Ethernet cable coming into my Wi-Fi router, which has Wi-Fi, of course, and has 5 hardline Ethernet ports. Out of those 5 hardline Ethernet ports, I have one port running to my upstairs office and one port running out to my ham shack, which is actually plugged in right there. You can't see it, it's off camera, but it's right there. So I have 2 hard lines coming out of my router, one here, one upstairs, and upstairs I have a 24-port Linksys switch, and that's where pretty much everything else lives. So I just plug the SharkRF into the Linksys switch, set it right up there, and that's upstairs in my house, so it's probably 25, 30 foot off the ground level, and that helps a lot, I think. I think it does. I think it helps a lot to have it up high. If you have a 2-story house, put the SharkRF on the 2nd story. If you have a 3-story house, or you have an attic ham shack, put it up there. Get it up as high as you can, because it's only like 200 or 300 milliwatts, something like that. It says in the instructions. I don't remember the number right now. It says in the instructions how powerful it is. You can actually turn that up and down in the software. I showed you that earlier too. So, but it works very, very, very well. These things. So anyway, but yeah, really, really great, easy to use. The only thing, two things I don't like about it. Number one, it doesn't have Wi-Fi, but they're correcting that, so not a big deal. Number two, unlike the Blue DV, where you have the app in front of you. Now, you have to have an Android or a Windows or soon-to-be iPhone app in front of you. But it shows you what talk group you're on. It shows you you're connected. It shows you who's talking. Somebody keeps up and talks to you. You can see who's talking to you. This doesn't have that. So this is more like being on a real repeater. Because you're driving down the road in your truck, and you key up the repeater, and someone comes back to you, you can look down at the radio and see who's talking to you. And you can do that with the Openspot as well. This is not a very place to set that. Very good place to set that. There you go. You can do that with the radio as well. There's guys are still talking on there. So, but on the Blue DV device, since you've got it connected to an Android or a Windows device, it shows you on that screen of that device who's talking. So you don't need to look at your radio. So I've got a Winbook, an 8-inch Winbook tablet set right there in my truck, right next to my car stereo. And when I'm driving down the road talking on the Blue DVE, I can glance over at the Winbook and tell who exactly is talking to me. That's a cool feature. That's a cool feature that nothing else has at this point in time. But using this at the house like I do, I'm walking around looking at my radio face at the house anyway. So, not a big deal, really. But like I said, there's perks to each one of them, so it depends on what you want to do. If you want a hotspot for the house, get this. If you want a hotspot mobile, wait until this comes out with Wi-Fi, or go get the Blue DV. That's my recommendation right now. But the SharkRF, very well received, easy to use, easy to set up, sounds excellent. Highly recommended. 73 guys, thanks for watching. This is Jason. I'm KC5HWB. This is Ham Radio 2.0, where I talk about everything and anything that is new in amateur radio and pumpkin beer during the fall season. 73, guys. I'll be QRT.